Hello, welcome to the latest episode of the Full-Time Whittle Podcast. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Bradley Rea. He's got a massive fight at the weekend at the Wembley Stadium. And first and foremost, Brad, for the viewers who may not know who you are, can you introduce yourself and what you're all about?
Yeah, so currently 9-0 as a pro middleweight. Managed and promoted by Steve Wood's VIP Boxing. And yeah, I've got a big fight Matchroom show this coming Saturday. So very excited.
It's going to be a really good fight, and we'll touch on that later in the podcast. But to put a bit of feelers out there, when did your love for boxing initially begin, and when did you first get into the sport?
I've been boxing for as long as I can remember. Really, it's been my life. You know, I was a bit of a chubby kid in primary school. Played a bit of football. Got into boxing as a way to get fit for the football and to kind of drop a bit of weight. You know, it took me time to kind of fall in love with the sport. I think once that I started sparring and stuff, and the real boxing training, that was when I really fell in love with boxing, and I've just not looked back since then. Seems like yesterday, but I've been boxing for the majority of my life now.
When did you get the bug to start boxing competitively?
Well, as soon as I turned 11, so my dad had an amateur gym by this point. So by the time I was 8, 9, 10, I was in the gym daily. And it was kind of a countdown until I turned 11, so till I could have my first fight. So I think it was a couple of weeks after my 11th birthday, and then I had my first fight, my first amateur bout.
That's brilliant. And you mentioned your dad there. Are you quite a big family person?
Not massively, mate. Well, a little bit. Depends. But
no worries. In terms of your boxing journey to become a professional boxer, what was that like, and what did you go through to get to the stage where you are today?
It's been hard. There's been a lot of ups and downs. A lot of getting your hopes up as an amateur and as a professional, and having them taken away with you. But for me, you've just got to be persistent. I'm a strong believer in the cream rises to the top eventually, and you've just got to be patient, and it is hard sometimes, especially in the pro ranks. You kind of look about and you see kids, getting opportunities, getting on big shows that, in my opinion, don't deserve them. And you've got, I work hard. I'm not saying I'm the one that should be on these shows, but there's a lot of other kids out there that probably deserve it more than them. And it is disheartening, and a lot of kids do end up jacking it in because of that reason. But I've just got to be persistent, got to stay positive, and I've finally got an opportunity here, something that I've been waiting for a while now.
You've worked very hard to get to the point where you are today. You fought on the VIP boxing promotion shows professionally. You're currently 9-0, and I've watched you a couple of times through covering at the Wigginton Post, and I've always been really impressed. You bring a large following, and you've got a lot of talent and a lot of promise for the future. And in your last fight before the coronavirus pandemic, you actually fought on the Matchroom show at the Manchester Arena just over a year ago on Saturday, 7th of March. You earned a comfortable points victory against Pavel Garage. And it looked like this win was going to be the one that really helped excel your status and almost propel you to bigger and better things. And just 2 weeks later, the coronavirus pandemic struck, a national lockdown, it put everything on hold. How did you feel at the time when that happened? Because it was a massive thing for everyone, not just for yourself in sport, but in day-to-day life.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixed emotion, really, because obviously I was grateful that I managed to squeeze a fight in beforehand at the Manchester Arena on the Quid Carroll undercard on a Matchroom show. It was a big platform for me, give me a bit of an insight into the bigger shows, and then the plan was, have a good performance on that. And Eddie said that 4 weeks later they were back at Manchester Arena for it was Wide Povetkin that was supposed to happen the first time, and he was going to put me on the undercard for that because I did well selling tickets and stuff. So that would have been a massive pay-per-view platform that I would have got on, and I think another good performance there that he could have been maybe having a look at signing us up to Matchroom, but it is what it is. everything happened for a reason. A year later, and I'm here now, and I've got that opportunity now to show them what I can do.
You mentioned getting the experience fight on the bigger shows. How do they differ between the regional shows at VIP boxing promotions?
Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, when you're in there, it's the same thing. Whether you're sparring, whether you're at Manchester Arena, whether you're at Victoria Warehouse, once that first bell rings, it's just you're on it, tunnel vision, and but it's just a lot more. I think for my last fight, the experience that I gained more was kind of the press conferences, the media workouts, the weigh-ins and stuff. Is just a bit more of a spectacle. So I think this week that's probably been very beneficial to me, where I've been in that position and done it before, and I don't think the opponent has from what I can remember. So again, it's just a little bit of experience, a slight advantage I've got.
Do you enjoy the media circus and the press conferences? Because I can imagine it is quite nerve-wracking, but also exciting at the same time.
Yeah, it is. I think I was a little bit, that time a year ago, I was a little bit more timid. There's a lot of cameras in your face and you don't really know where to look or what to say, but I'm a lot more confident now. Like I said, I've had the experience, I've done it before. So yeah, thought it was a Hollywood superstar today.
It's a really special feeling, and at the moment you're currently in your hotel. You're in the bubble now, in the Matchroom bubble. What's that like, and how's boxing changed in terms of the organisation since the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, it's good. It's got everything we need in here. Perfect. I kind of like being away from all the hustle and bustle and stuff of it. I'm quite enjoying it. If I want to go and mix with people downstairs, I can do. If I want to have a bit of time to myself in my room, I can do. It's good, they've got 3 gyms downstairs, all your food sorted, nice room. So yeah, you can't really ask for much more, but I'm quite enjoying it. Obviously it is different because of coronavirus, but it is what it is at the end of the day. You've just got to adapt, and if you've got to do what you've got to do to fight, and I just want to fight at the end of the day. That's all I've wanted for the past year. And yeah, I finally got that chance.
That's the main thing, just getting the opportunity to fight. And over the last 12 months, how have you found keeping yourself busy and keeping your mind occupied? Because obviously it's been really tough for a lot of people, both physically and mentally, through the lockdowns and the pandemic.
Yeah, mentally it's been hard. It has been hard. I'm not one of them who's going to say, I was training for the full time through, I was ready, because it was, you had your good days, you had your bad days. But it's just one of them. I think everyone was in the same boat. It was disheartening. Got my hopes up a lot. Got it taken away a lot, and I got to the point and I was thinking, am I ever going to get back in the ring here? But like I said, you've just got to be positive, got to be persistent, and but when I got back in the gym, I just had the mentality that there's not many opportunities about at the moment. So if an opportunity comes up, I've got to be ready. Got to be ready to take it. And back end of last year, we got a few, last minute calls, 2-3 days notice. Would you take this fight? And we jumped at it. Fights never ended up coming off, and again, that was a bit up and down. I was a bit like, right, is this ever going to happen? Getting my hopes up again, but stayed on it, training hard, and like I said, I finally got my chance now, and I'm just so grateful for it. Can't wait to get back in there.
Given you've had to wait so long and really earn this chance, does it make you want it even more?
Yeah, definitely. I've not been out of the ring this long since I was 11 years old. A year is a long time, and it's made me realise my love for the sport and how much I enjoy it. And yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing to get in there. Can't wait.
Are you aware of how big this fight could potentially be for your career? Because the fight between yourself and Lee Cutler has really captured the imagination of the boxing fans, because it presents a real opportunity for both of you to excel your career and also pursue domestic honours.
Yeah, definitely. I know how big this fight could be, and I think that's why I put absolutely everything into it. I found gears for this fight that I didn't even know I had in previous fights. I've always thought I'd put 100%. I'd emptied the tank for my last fights, and this fight I've realised that I've not, because you know, I have entered it this time. I've given absolutely everything. And I know that a good win here, you know, it could get the attention of the right people, the likes of Eddie Hearn, who's obviously looking at when crowds are back. He'll be looking at he'll be looking at putting on shows, you know, back in Manchester, back at Manchester Arena. You know, looking for that next person to sell it out. He signed a few up and coming Manchester lads recently, and you know, I want to throw my name in the hat. I want to be in that mix, and when these big shows are coming to Manchester, I want to be on them.
As a boxer, what is your dream to achieve?
I've always said, when I turned pro, I've always said I want a British title outright. It's my favourite belt. I love it, and one of my goals was to box at Manchester Arena. You know, I've been going since I was a kid. You know, I'm happy that I've ticked that off the list, but I want to be boxing in front of a sold-out Manchester Arena now. I want that big following. I want people coming to watch me, and you know, winning titles at that arena would mean absolutely everything to me.
Are you proud to be from Manchester?
Very proud man, mate. Very proud man. So yeah, like, you know, I'd absolutely love to gain a bit of a following, you know, like Ricky and like Crawler has. And you know, these are people when I was younger that I looked up to, and now I know that I'm not far away from, you know, taking another step towards that, and a win on Saturday would be a massive step towards that.
Absolutely. Having looked up towards Ricky Hatton when he was younger, what's it been like to train at Hatton's gym?
Yeah, you know, obviously it's a privilege. As a kid, I was a massive Ricky Hatton fan. Used to get up and go to all his fights, get up and watch him in the middle of the night and stuff. And but now it's just normal, you know. It's just Ricky. It's just Ricky. He's in the gym every day. You know, he's giving me tips. He's helping me out, and you know, he'll be in my corner Saturday night as part of my team. So yeah, well, obviously it's an honour, and he's very experienced, been at the absolute pinnacle of the sport. So any bits of knowledge and experience that you can pass on to help me, you know, I appreciate.
Do you remember the first time you ever met Ricky Hatton?
I was probably very young, probably at a boxing show, getting a trophy presented to me or something, and he didn't know who I was. And obviously I've met him a few times over the years where you know, he wouldn't have known who it was, but no, I'm pretty sure he knows who I am now.
Yeah, it must be unbelievable, because obviously someone you've looked up to, you work close with now, and that's a great achievement. And on Saturday, to talk more about the fight now, you're obviously fighting Bournemouth's Lee Cutler, who's a fellow undefeated prospect at Wembley. It's a real 50-50 fight. How does it feel to know that you'll be fighting on the nation's biggest stage in front of the Sky Sports cameras in such a huge opportunity for your career and your future?
Yeah, you know, it's great. It's don't get me wrong, it is a bit of a daunting task. Like, Lee's a great fighter. I know it's going to be a hard night's work, but you know, I think that's going to bring the best out in me. The lead up to this fight is this is my first fight, not boxing a journeyman, you know, where I'm not expected to win necessarily. So I've had that little bit of fear factor in the gym. You know, I've had that. I could generally lose this fight, and it's just taken me on that little bit. It's made me. I've cut no corners. You know, I've put 100% in every day, and I'm ready for it. And like you said, it's a 50-50 fight, but I'm extremely confident.
How dangerous is Lee Cutler, for those who may not know him?
He's a very good fighter, mate. He's a very good fighter. He brings a lot to the table. He's a little bit shorter than me, stocky, strong and powerful. Got a couple more stoppages than me, so bit heavy-handed, but he can box as well. So he brings a lot to the table, mate. It's a very, very risky fight. It's a fight that could have potentially happened a bit further down the line for a title or something. But it is what it is. The fight got put to us, we accepted it. The fight got put to them, they accepted it. So it's on. And, you know, I've said earlier today that I do think no matter what happens on Saturday, both me and Leo go on to do good things in boxing, but it's just the winner's going to be fast-tracked and propelled on, and the loser, you know, is going to have to rebuild.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a fight for the ages, in my opinion. It could already be an early contender for Fight of the Year in 2021. And you mentioned Eddie Hearn earlier in the podcast. You actually just name dropped him as Eddie, which I found quite amusing, to be honest, because
Yeah,
Eddie Hearn is one of boxing's biggest names. He's the star promoter. No context Hearn's a thing people outside of boxing probably know him best for. The go on then, and all the memes you've seen about
yeah.
that. But how instrumental has he been over the last couple of weeks and throughout your career?
Yeah, he's probably the biggest promoter in the country, in the world now, I would say, because he's gone over to the States and he's taken over, and a win here could mean, being promoted by him, and it would be an honour because he's obviously good at what he does. I think he'd be the man to, put me on the right path, but it is what it is at the end of the day. This is a great opportunity for me, and I'm going to grab it with both hands.
Do you think this could be potentially career changing for you?
Definitely, mate. I think in years to come, when I look back, I think Saturday night is going to be the start of my career where it changed paths, and I really started taking off, and people sat up and started noticing me and started talking about me, and I think this is going to be the start of something good on Saturday.
I think it's going to be a really exciting evening and opportunity for you. And obviously at Wembley Stadium as well, like I said earlier, it is the national stage. It's staged so many great fighters, so many great fights, and so many great sporting events, and you'll be there in the thick of it. And I know when that bell rings, it'll be like you said earlier, fighting at Victoria Arena, University of Bolton Stadium, anywhere really. And I've mentioned earlier, I've seen you fight on a handful of occasions on the VIP boxing shows, and you often bring a large and loyal following, as you did for Manchester Arena as well. Is it almost bittersweet that your friends and family won't be able to come and watch you during your biggest fight so far?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I get great support, and I love having the crowds there and the support. I love the noise, and it's great. It's a great feeling. It gives you eggs you on that little bit, but I know that they'll all be sat at home behind the TVs watching, and I can't wait to get the win, and then my next fight, hopefully, I'll have that support back, and everyone will be eager to get out and support me.
Absolutely. So Lee Cutler is currently 7-0 with 4 knockouts. You're 9-0 with 3 knockouts. How much of a war is this going to be?
It's going to be a great fight, mate. Honestly, it's going to be a great fight. We have sparred in the past, me and Lee. We did 8 rounds a couple of years ago, and if the spar is anything to go off, it's going to be an absolute dust up. So
I know in boxing code, you don't really talk about sparring beyond that, but did you get a good taste of what Lee was like as a boxer during that session? And do you think that's helped you prepare for this fight a lot better than it would have done if you were just fighting a undefeated prospect who you'd never cross paths with?
Yeah, definitely, mate. It was. He'll say the same. It was a real 50-50 spar. Great to watch. He had success. I had success. I'm sure the stuff that I've taken from the spar, the stuff that he's taken from the spar, but sparring's massively different to being in there on fight night, and I think I'm going to show him that on Saturday.
Do you think the nerves would also play a part on Saturday, given the magnitude of the fight and given the high-profile nature of
it? Potentially, yeah. I don't think for me so much. I think it'll probably bring out the best in me. I don't think he's really a nervous guy either, but obviously, like you said, with the magnitude of the fight, and we both know what this fight could lead to, I think I'll have a few butterflies on Saturday morning, and sure he will as well.
Absolutely. And how confident are you that your hand will be raised at the end of the bout?
Yeah, man, look, don't get me wrong. I know it's going to be a difficult fight. There's going to be times in the fight when I'm going to have to bite down on my gum shield and just say, right, let's go. Who wants this more? But I'm confident that, it's me that wants it more, and I'm extremely confident that I'm going to get my arm raised at the end of the fight.
Absolutely, and I wish you the best of luck for this fight. It's going to be a great occasion. You can watch it on Sky Sports, and I believe it'll be around 7 p.m, but I'm sure it'll get confirmed nearer to the time. I'll put a link in the description. Everyone's going to be behind you, certainly in Manchester. it's massive for you. It's massive for your career. And to end this fantastic podcast, I've really enjoyed chatting to you and get to know you a bit more. But I've got anything you'd like to add and say to put an end to this podcast?
Yeah, just, everyone tuning in. It's going to be a great fight. Thanks to everyone for the support. Unfortunately, everyone who usually buys tickets is going to have to sit this one home, but I'm sure I'll be able to hear him from Manchester, to be fair, some of the noise I've been making. Also, as well, I'll just give my sponsors a quick shout out. Everyone there, ISS Limited, Nevin's Property, Tadilo, CTS, National Intensive, Easy Access, Just Tickets. And on the back, we've got CBD Relieve, Cryolad, MHR Clinic, Smart Northwest, MJ Finnegan, and Chester Flooring. Yeah, without them people, I've had a year out of the ring with not being paid. Without them people, I wouldn't have been able to carry on training full time, or wouldn't have been able to, be ready at short notice like you have been, and I probably wouldn't have been able to take this fight. So without them people, I probably won't be here now. So I'm so grateful.
Absolutely, the sponsors mean everything in the pro ranks, because especially over the last year, because if you don't fight, you won't get your income. So they've been a big help to you. And on the t-shirt, we've seen all the great sponsors, but we also saw your great nickname. Can you explain the origins of your nickname?
So, mate, when I turned pro, I think it was just on a night out, maybe a little bit tipsy. One of my mates started calling me the Stingray, and I just laughed it off at first, mate. And I never took to it. And when the lads were talking about nicknames, I was just laughing about it and very stupidly brought it up. And then the next time Lee Hogan from VIP TV was in interviewing me, they told him, and it was up on the bottom. And honestly, mate, I hated it at first. Mate. But the lads always said in the gym that the longer you neglect it, he said, it's just not going to work for you. You've got to embrace the Stingray, and that's when stuff will start going right. So after 2 years, mate, I finally embraced it, and hopefully Saturday night things are going to start going right for me.